So sad for Meghan and Harry. Most Americans are not dumb enough to believe all Sussex lies. In the past, Harry has claimed that his kids are simply not safe to return to the UK. Now, obviously, he is living in a fantasy world. The UK is incredibly safe. People are sick and tired of Harry's attitude. He does not need armed security. I mean, come on. Now, luckily, though, most Americans are not stupid enough to believe all their lies. The fact is, Meghan and Harry and their family are a lot safer in London and Montecito than in New York. Almost everybody I know owns guns and shoots or hunts on a somewhat regular basis, and they have never been the victim of gun violence. People are just sick and tired of Meghan and Harry's drama. Harry has always had the use of a substantial property on the Windsor estate, and that's probably a lot better than where they're living in California right now. Harry doesn't care one iota about security. It is Meghan who wants all the flashing lights and the sirens. And not only in the UK, where they in fact do get protection, but all over the place. Harry is so self-entitled, he believes that he is so important. He claims that his kids are not safe in the UK, but doesn't say a thing about them being unsafe in the US, which is actually a lot more dangerous than the UK, where so many people have guns. I mean, he is incredibly delusional and he's an idiot. Another problem is, if Harry is so convinced that his kids are so much safer in the US than they are in the UK, then why don't we ever see him out and about in public with them? Obviously, he is just as paranoid about them there as he is in the UK. Harry only said that because he thinks that's going to get him out of having to produce the children. Harry and Meghan don't have any children to present. It's all just a trick to keep fooling the entire world and also competing with the Prince and Princess of Wales, of course. Harry and Meghan need to get over themselves. Why are they so obsessed with outshining and trashing and replacing the people ahead of them in the line of succession? I mean, for all the betrayal that Meghan and Harry have visited on their respective families, they deserve to lose every single thing. They deserve the horrible karma that's coming their way. They have inflicted so much pain on other people, and they deserve to have that pain come back to them tenfold. Another thing is, if Harry is really convinced that his kids are unsafe in the UK, doesn't he think that he and Meghan themselves brought this about thanks to their cruelty, their really horrible decisions, their nasty behavior? Now, unfortunately, this behavior has had and continues to have a roll-on effect that is all over the world now. And the tragic part of all of this is it's being witnessed by the multitude all around the world. Obviously, Harry doesn't even bother using that brain in his ginger head anymore. Meghan does all the thinking for both of them. She makes all the decisions about the relationship, and especially about Harry's relationship with his own family. Meghan Markle wears the pants in that relationship, obviously. And I suspect they ran away from the UK because Meghan wanted to live in California. She wanted to live with all the A-listers, hoping that she would finally be able to break in. Of course, that didn't work out very well. Meghan was not interested in being a working member of the royal family. She didn't want to serve the UK and the Commonwealth. I think that she would have stayed if they had been allowed to just pick and choose their royal engagements, and of course if they had received more money. If Harry can prove that he really is the father of those children, then maybe he does have the right to say my children. That's something that I don't think Meghan could ever honestly say. It looks like Meghan and Harry are still trying to put a target on the heads of Charles and William and Catherine and even George, Charlotte, and Louis. These, after all, are the people that Harry and Meghan despise and they want to get rid of. Meghan and Harry have often said, let's remember, that they're only one plane crash away from being king and queen. Harry and Meghan are a couple of psychopaths, and they should be convicted on all the illegal actions they have perpetrated. Slander, assault and battery, perjury, the fact that they're traitors. There are many other things they've done, and all out there in public. And they have been discussed at length on numerous public sites as well as in the media. So either they should be incarcerated, or at the very least, they should serve some jail time. In my view, one big advantage of the Windsor estate is that it already has security from so many security guys. I mean, they're actual soldiers. The estate provides housing for the King, the Prince and Princess of Wales, the Duke of York, and the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, as well as their families. Harry and Meghan are really stringing a line for the paranoid Americans out there who seem to live in a place where being shot is actually a real risk they face on a daily basis. In the UK, however, this is just not a risk that people are facing. Harry chose to step back from the royal firm, and he has been burning bridges ever since then. Meghan hasn't shown any attempt whatsoever to understand the around 100,000-year-old traditions, which are so important to most people who live in the UK and the Commonwealth. In fact, it provides a lot of constitutional stability. At this point, Meghan and Harry are increasingly irrelevant in the UK. Nobody cares if they return. They got involved in all these business endeavors in the US, but it looks like they are failing at every single one of them. Remember when they promised that they were going to give us stories that would both inform and inspire us? So far, though, we've only heard stories about how hot they were for each other, who made whom cry, and how they had to leave this racist society in the UK, and how all the lies, all the leaking was done by the firm. They only care about their PR. They are living probably in the right place in Hollywood, where everything tends to be pretty fake. Neither of them, though, is scared of being shot. They just want the illusion of being paraded around with all these armed police, outrider motorcycles stopping traffic so the motorcade can go through without needing to stop. They want this because then they can convince themselves that they really are important. They're wanting IPP status so they can get free security wherever they go, paid by the people living in that country. They also want to be immune from prosecution all around the world. They could do whatever they wanted to. They want to be in the top ring of VIPs all around the world. IPP status will at least allow them to convince themselves of that. But in the US, we do not have royalty, so no, we don't need to refer to Meghan Markle as Duchess. Meghan convinced herself that by marrying into the royal family, she would finally have the fame and fortune she wanted her entire life. She was a nobody before Harry, and she is still a nobody today. It's important that people stop trying to make them relevant. They're simply not. It really bothers me how much Meghan and Harry hate the royals, and there are a few people who very much share these feelings of anxiety over the Harry and Meghan situation. I mean, they're so evil. Look at how they've bullied so many people. They're a couple of violent people, too. And the constant schemes they come up with demonstrate their desperate need to be worshipped. I do hope that they never give in to their worst desires, though. And if they did return to the UK, they would be mostly isolated. And they're probably also running out of money at this point. They are going to discover fewer and fewer opportunities are coming their way. They have basically been sidelined from the working royals, and so they're not going to have the support of the royal PR machine anymore, and it's going to hinder them. And if there were some terrible tragedy in the royal family, does anybody think the UK government would choose Princess Beatrice as the next monarch instead of Prince Harry? Honestly, I do not believe that Harry is smart enough to think like that. He just wanted to try to get rid of the nickname Bunker Harry that was given to him by his army colleagues, who knew his position in life. My news today has ended. What do you think about this couple? Please tell me your opinions below in the comments section, and we can also discuss them. Don't be afraid to like and share my video with anybody else who needs it if you preferred it this evening.